traffic issue at Safeway area, and so things are backed up. And we are going to wait about 5 minutes, just 5 more minutes, and then we'll get going, just to let you know. Thank you. Yeah, stop slacking off and just have fun. All right, again, thank you for your patience, and we will go ahead and get rolling. My name is John Laney. I am the president of the Kihei Community Association. Woo. And there's three things that you should do sitting in your chair. First is you should pat yourself on the back because you have come to find out who to vote for. And that is one of the differences we get to make in our community. So thank you for coming out and getting to know who the candidates are, what they stand for, which you will find out tonight. The second thing is if you are not a member of KCA, if you live or work in South Maui, you should consider becoming a member. We are a nonprofit community advocacy group, and we push for making a better South Maui. The more voices we have helping us do that, the more impact that we have. So if you are not a member, it costs a whopping $15 for your first year. Not only that, you get a free Pro Arts ticket for joining as a new member. So, you know, it's quite a deal. And just see Patricia on your way out and become a member. That would be great. The third thing is, if you're already a member of KCA, thank you very much. And what we'd like you to do is every time there's a public meeting, please consider inviting a neighbor or a friend. Because consider this, right? Your neighbor may be sitting alone in their living room, and they may be complaining about something in South Maui, and they don't even know that KCA exists. And we find that the way people mostly come to learn about us is through a neighbor or a friend telling them about KCA. So if you let them know and invite them to a meeting, then they can find out where they can be a voice to help improve South Maui. All right? Now we're going to have Lynn come up and tell you a bit about what's happening at Pro Arts.
Hey everybody, thank you so much. As always, these guys let me say a quick thing to tell you about the space that you're in if you don't already know about it. My name's Lynn, I'm the executive director here at Pro Arts. We are a nonprofit performing arts and community center. We are very grateful to be the host of the Kihei Community Association. We also have a full roster of music, including John Cruz every 2 weeks, Amy Hanaya Li'i all summer. We just had Kalani Pe'a. We have a whole roster of films. Next week we'll be celebrating La Hoi Hoi Ea with a series of films about Kaho'olawe. We encourage you to come out and see that. It's very, very cheap prices, only $11 for that. We try to keep things really affordable for the community, and we also have a program called Access for All that allows us to give free tickets to those in financial need because we want to make sure that the arts remains accessible here on Maui. We've got that's right, thank you very much, that's right, we want to keep that. And we have a whole bunch of these awesome little flyers and calendars up at the front where you can learn more about everything that we do and our programs for the community. We are grateful for all of you being here this evening. We look forward to this evening to a lovely civil discussion on all topics. And if anyone needs the restroom, it is out and to the left at the back. Thank you so much for supporting and for being here this evening. Thank you very much.
And then we'd like to acknowledge that we have our state rep, Therese Amato, here with us tonight. Therese has some exciting ideas that we won't be talking about tonight, but we will in the near future. But we're happy to have her here. And then let me tell you how it's going to go tonight. We have 3 different districts here, because they are running in the primary, which is August 8th. So you will have a chance to vote on August 8th for every county council district that has more than 2 people running. If they just have 2 people running, they will be in the vote in November. So in case you're not aware, all county council members are for all of Maui. So yes, we have South Maui, we have Tom Cook and Kelly King running against each other, but every council member that gets elected represents all of county, not just their area. So as you get to know the candidates tonight, they are here for you in South Maui as well. They're not here just to represent the area that they're from. Is everyone clear about that? A lot of people, it's like, well, they're not really mine. Yes, they really are yours. They really are ours. So we're gonna have 3 groups coming up, and they'll start with a 2-minute opening statement, and then we'll ask some questions, well, that's pretty much what's going to happen. And then we'll move on to the next group, and we'll move on to the next group. And if everyone would just take a moment and appreciate what these candidates are doing, right? They are raising their hand, and they are saying, I want to make a difference for Maui. I want to represent Maui, right? Isn't that a great thing? That really is. So thank you very much for being here and for making a difference. We appreciate it. All right. The first group to come up is Jason Naraban and Carol Lee Kamakona. And if you would come up this way with the stairs so no one falls. The 2 center chairs, please. You're going to be on TV. All right, and they are representing Kahului, just so you know. There is one more person running in Kahului, but he was unable to get back to the island tonight to be here. So we'll start off with opening statements, and Carol Lee, if you would start, please.
Aloha, everyone. I want to start by extending a huge mahalo to the Kihei Community Association for hosting us here at Pro Arts Playhouse in Kulakai. I personally know how demanding campaign season is while also working with the county. And although making time in a busy schedule isn't always easy, we do it because it is our kuleana. I am Carol Lee Kamikona, and I am running because I believe Kahului and all of Maui stand to benefit more if they could be cared for and listened to. And I have been in the trenches of the community, caring for and listening to everyone who has called upon me for need for advocacy for the last 14 years. I am here tonight because I know South Maui is facing critical challenges that no longer can be ignored. We need serious, actionable solutions for our water management and storm recovery. Just look at the aftermath of the Kona low storms. Our coastal waters and reefs are still polluted from the heavy runoff. We must aggressively prioritize wetland conservation and beach restoration to protect our natural resources before the damage becomes irreversible. Our local businesses in Kulakai are struggling to thrive, and we must support our entrepreneurs. Unchecked tourism isn't the solution. We need to diversify our economy and invest in our workforce. I support expanding into lucrative industries like film and television for high-wage jobs, and enhancing agriculture for food sustainability and lower costs. I am here for my neighbors, both known and those not yet met. Maui is a diverse community with growing needs, and I'm committed to listening and creating solutions for all our families and businesses.
Thank
If you have any ideas, let's talk story after this. Come see me outside. Mahalo.
Thank you. And Carol Lee brings up a good point. Because of the number of candidates we have tonight, there will be no time for audience Q&A. We'd like to do that, but there won't be any time. However, please feel free to stay after, and most of the candidates will be happy to talk to you, all right? And then Jason, your opening statement.
Aloha, my name is Jason Amaban, and I'm a newcomer here. I'm an outsider, if you will. I'm not born and raised here, but I've been here for about 20 years. So when I decided to run for this, I did so because of what I saw in our community. You know, areas such as Kulehu Road and Hanson Road, you know, I work in IT in Wailea, and on the way home from work, sometimes what I'll do is I'll take a side exit off Hanson Road, and I'll cut down Kulehu Road. And what I've seen over the course of the years is just a buildup of a humanitarian crisis that is happening right before our eyes. And what I want to do is address that and provide these people with the help that they need. Another thing that I want to do is to champion, you know, affordable workforce housing. I'd like to see that as a viable option. The inventory that we have is not really there, and I think we need more, not less. And I think that, you know, for people like myself, you know, I'll just be open with you guys. For people like myself who do rent, you know, the cost of rent is going up and up and up every year, and it doesn't seem like there's any sort of end in sight. My father, his name is Steve. He lives in Kihei, and he's actually living in the lower income housing. He's retired, and you know, I'd like to make a difference, not only for him, of course, but for everyone in this room. You know, my goal is also water management, and as we have seen in the recent flooding, that could be mitigated, and there is a root cause to why we have so much silt coming down into South Kihei. You know, why the land is so dry up country. That's really caused by the rainbow eucalyptus sucking all of the water out of the soil. I forget the exact amount of gallons a day, but it's killing out all the native plant life up there that soil is really not for. Thank you.
Thank you, Jason. And then just so you know, our timekeeper is right here, and he'll hold up signs, so just occasionally you're not sure how long your 2 minutes is. You'll have about 2 minutes to answer each question. The first question, and this is for Carol Lee, and then we'll go to Jason. Many local families and workers are being priced out of Maui, as Jason was just talking about. What is one specific action you would take, Carol Lee, to make housing more affordable for residents?
Affordable is a word that seems to get thrown around a lot, but you need to ask, what is affordable? 800,000, 900,000 is not affordable, please. For what we get paid, for what our workers get paid, they're working 2 and 3 jobs just to even survive, putting food on the table and a roof over their head. What I suggest is for the county to provide subsidies to offset the costs for developers for infrastructure. Because you know that if the developers are paying for that infrastructure, that money just trickles on down to the consumers and the purchasers. So if the county can provide some kind of offset, some kind of subsidy for that infrastructure, it'll lower the cost of housing for our people. We are in a huge housing crisis that we are not going to be able to build our way out of. So that would be one of the biggest recommendations that I would provide, is subsidies.
Thank you. And Jason.
So as far as affordable housing, that's something that I would just have to minorly disagree with what I just heard. I think that having workforce housing expanded out in areas that is currently unused. Right now, we could be rezoned as old farmland that's not even in use. It's all dried up fields. I think we should champion building more structures for our workers to live in, and not feel that they need to find other locations in the world to live. We need these people here. This is the basis of our economy is tourism, and a lot of these people are what drive that. You know, without that engine running smoothly, these people are the lubrication that keep that thing coming, or that keep that thing turning. And we need that output for our local community. You know, it improves everything from finances to just life in general. And I want to put the brakes on people wanting to move off island and look elsewhere. A lot of our Kama'aina are moving off island because they're being priced out of paradise. And that's something that yeah, I think we would have control over. And I believe that, you know, making more units available is really the bottom line. I mean, it's some of these people that are on the street can't afford to pay rent, and we need to fix that. And that's you know, the root cause of one of the root causes of the issue right there.
Thank you. Okay. And Jason, we'll start this question with you. Residents in Kihei face chronic flooding every year, which shut down parts of South Kihei Road after every major rain. It's a complex issue, but what is something you'd prioritize to address this?
So this issue, let me preface this with the past of what I've done before. The company that I work for, we've gone up country and we planted koa trees, and I believe this was for, yeah, I'm not going to say the company name because I don't want to butcher it, but one of the companies that runs the zip line, they were explaining to everybody that the root cause, or one of the root causes, rainbow eucalyptus trees sucking up all the water out of the soil, like I mentioned earlier. What this leaves is just almost like a dust. And when it rains, this stuff turns into like a slurry, and that slurry, you know, washes down places like Kulani Hakoi Gulch, and that gulch overflows and just ruins everything, and the infrastructure gets, you know, washed over almost like sandpaper over wood, and you know, it's a thing that's happened over and over again. What we should do is we should put concrete down, kind of like they do in other places of the world, like say for example, LA or you know, other states that have had major flooding issues in the past. No longer they exist because they have these big concrete lined flood zones, you know, or spillways. I think that can be done with that gulch, and that would alleviate 90% of the issues there. Elimination of the silt by getting rid of those trees and lining those gulches up, maybe, you know, or creating divergent paths where there's water to go, I think would solve that issue. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much. And Carol Lee, what would you do to address flooding in South Maui?
I have to first say that I differ with my opponent in that doing concrete jungles is exactly what's causing the issue of the flooding. We need to remember that we are on an island. You need to go back to the Kanawai and the Kanaka mindset of the Ahupua'a system. Mauka to Makai, whatever happens up will always come down. Yes? It'll always trickle down. So the wetlands is one of the biggest ways for us to malama and to allow the water to go to where it needs to go. Yes? Also, I believe that if we were to have new developments that come about, is to put a condition on it to where retention basins are included in that development, because I think that too will also be able to help absorb the water so that it doesn't go straight into our oceans and affect our reefs. So mahalo.
Thank you. All right, and Carol Lee, this question is for you. Tourism is down in Maui for several reasons, and the county is losing revenue because of this. Do you have one revenue or cost-cutting option that you would implement to address this?
Economic diversity is one thing that I'm going to wholeheartedly support and strive for. In Kahului alone, we have many vacant storefronts and warehouses. For those of you that know Maui Marketplace, one of my biggest suggestions is for the county to partner with the project manager or owner of the Kahului Maui Marketplace and utilize the Old Sports Authority for a bowling alley, a arcade, and a way for our children and our families to be able to spend time together without having to worry about spending too much money. Our kids and our families don't have much to offer or are offered them to be able to come together and be a family. So economic diversity as that kinds of stuff is what I would wholeheartedly support. Bringing back our local businesses is another way. We need to help our people. We need to help our farmers. We need to help our ranchers. So if we can provide, again, another empty warehouse or storefront, utilize it as a co-op for our small businesses, rather than them having to worry about the overhead cost of a storefront, why not just rent them a stall? Kind of like what they do at the flea market, at the college, but it's indoors. So it's more on a 24/7, 365. They don't have to worry about the inclement weather. So those are the kinds of things that would help generate that we don't necessarily always have to depend on tourism. Mahalo.
Thank you. And Jason, one cost-cutting idea that you'd have once you're in office?
Well, one cost-cutting idea, obviously, a lot of the costs are from taxes. You know, these hotels, I'm not against taxing tourism, but I am for making it easier for them to come here. You know, and I think that the more tourism that we have, you know, the better it is, because these tourists, they do provide business to our local businesses. A lot of them that stay in Wailea or in hotels in Kihei, they shop locally. They buy stuff in bulk, and they just send it back or take it back with them. I think incentivizing that somehow by, like, say, making it easier for hotels to advertise, to get our name out there, to, you know, show the world how beautiful place this is for them to come here and visit. I know, you know, that the mindset is, hey, we don't want tourism, but, you know, if we look at what our economy boils down to, it's foreign dollars coming into our state, and we need to boost that as much as possible. And I think, you know, making it easier for these hotels to advertise, and making permitting processes easier for businesses, you know, would you know, to her point is, you know, say, making that bowling alley possible, getting that permit established, and instead of having to wait for things to get approved and bent over backwards to get things done. I think making that process easier would greatly cut costs.
Thank you. All right, and Jason, starting with you, what is one bold idea you believe Maui should consider that maybe isn't being discussed enough or talked about enough?
I think we should build a facility to assist these homeless people we have. I think that should be something we should explore. There's, like I say, there is plenty of space to do that. If not a bowling alley, that could be that facility placed in that location. These people, they need help, and I think that we are the ones to step up and provide that for them. You know, it's our duty, you know, to help each other, and I think that having someone live in a car, you know, I feel bad when I see that, and especially if I see a car with maybe a child there, you know, like at Kanaha Beach. I've seen that there, you know, and it breaks my heart. I can't handle it. So that is one of the reasons why I'm here today, and I'm trying to make the difference in this community that I think can be done, and you know, that we should really start there. And then, you know, the second thing would be, you know, making more inventory available for people to live, and maybe even having a you know, offset living costs, you know, location would be greatly beneficial to everybody. You know, we can get these people the help they need, and help make it easier for our you know, residents to live. Would be the first two things that I think would be, you know, should be focused on.
Thank you. And Carol Lee, bold idea for Maui?
As an advocate for our houseless community, providing shelter for our houseless is not a bold idea, because housing is a right. Everybody has that right to have a shelter and a roof over their heads. So what needs to be done, actually, again, utilizing empty storefronts and warehouses, we can build shelters. But the shelters would only be a temporary thing that needs to be done. Because in the long run, we need the transitional housing. We need the wraparound services to provide them, to give them the hand up, not the hand out. What I say most importantly, you know, bye. It went. Sorry, I just lost my train of thought. Can I come back?
No, it's great. Happens to me all the time. All right. Thank you. So, last question, and we'll start with you, Carol Lee. Why do you want to be a county council member?
To be the voice for our people. Each and every one of you sitting here in this room, you came because you wanted to hear what everybody had to say. What I'm saying to you, I want to be your voice. I want the seat at the table to represent you in what you think is important for our people. What you think is going to help make Maui better for us, not the Turai, us. We are the aloha. We are what people come to see. Yeah? That is my opinion, and that is what I wholeheartedly believe, that for you, I am here. I am going to listen. I'm going to do the best I can to promote whatever needs or support whatever needs to be done so that we can make Maui a better place for all of us.
Thank you. And Jason, why do you want to be a county council member?
At heart, I'm an information technology professional, and if you ask any of us why we do what we do for a living, why we deal with such a stressful job, and there's so many other things that we can do. Well, we all do it because we receive joy out of helping people. When an entire network is down and I'm able to bring everything back up and functioning, that helps people, work. That same mindset, I believe I can make a difference here in our county, because I want to bring that same helping mindset to helping our community. I know that we can't, just yank people, off the streets and put them in a facility. Okay, that's fine, fair point. But let's make things better for them. Let's make things better for everyone in general. I've made several points here. The housing costs, the homeless, all that. I think that mindset of mine of solving problems can be applied here locally to our community, and I do believe I would make things a lot better for us if elected.
All right, thank you very much. All right, and I believe we have a last thought.
Can I just go back to that bold thought? Because it finally came back.
Yeah, there it is, right here.
Kalamai, everybody. So I think the biggest issue that affects Maui is we need architects, we need engineers, we need planners that have the foresight to think, go beyond a one-way in and a one-way out. Totally on this island, every place you go, ingress, egress, one way in, one way out. And we know what happens with flooding, where people get stuck in traffic on Pi'ilani Highway, you can't get out. So with all the projects that I know that are coming up in South Maui, i.e. the H2 project, the ATC McKenna project, the Honua Ula Partners project, aka YLES 670, and possibly the Christian Chan project, where are all those 2,000 people in those units going to drive Pi'ilani Highway? We need to ensure that each of our districts has a second alternative in and out. And I'm sorry, SKR is not your answer. Mahalo.
Okay, thank you. All right, and then Jason, she got a little extra time. Is there a last thought you'd like to share with the group?
I would like to thank each and every one of you for being here tonight. I've never done this before. This is my first, actually second time appearing in public. The first time really didn't go so well as we've all seen. But this time I feel like it's gone a little bit, maybe better than last time. Forgive me. But I do want to thank each and every one of you and for you for hosting this event and giving me a chance to speak my mind and say what I think needs to be said. You know, whether or not it's agreed with or not, I mean, that's okay, fine, everybody has their own opinion. But I think I'm here tonight because, you know, I want to make that change.
All right. Thank you both very much. A big hand for both of them. Thanks again. All right. The next group coming up is a large group, 5 from Wailuku. So if you would come up this way using the step. And we only have 4 microphones, so we're gonna see if 2 people can share, all right? Thank you. Oh, we may not have. Ashley did not make it.
No, she's here.
She's here?
She's right there.
Oh, okay. All right.
Sure.
Okay, and do you have your placard there?
I'm good. Yeah,
Okay.
Yep, there we go.
All right, so Alan, we will start with you, 2-minute opening statement. And again, our timekeeper is here. If you're not sure where you're at in the 2 minutes, just take a look at them.
All right, thank you, John. My name is Alan Lloyd. I'm running for Maui County Council, Wailuku area. Most people don't know me, and that's because I like to work quietly and doing what I do, but I'm a hard-driving, get things done person. So a little background about me. I have a master's degree in policy and planning. I've worked as a policy analyst for a legislature and city council. I have developed nonprofit housing, and I have 2 children. Believe it or not, I can't believe it, but they're aged 32 and 30, a girl and a boy. So I'm proud of them. One of the questions John asked for us to talk about is why we're running. And the answer for me is because many people have asked me to. I think it's time for a change. And I want to focus on people who live and work here. And that's my main focus, people who live and work here, because I think they're being left behind. The main reason I'm running is because of affordability. I think Maui's not affordable. It's not affordable for most of us. So I have 5 platform areas. One is affordability for housing, which is both purchasing and rentals. The second one is affordable preschool. The third is local services for Kapuna, so you don't have to go out to Kanoa to get services. Services could be at the Kihei Community Center. How about that? Thank you. The fourth one is reducing grocery costs, and the 5th one is maintaining infrastructure, and we all know about that one here. Just also to let you know, I'm supported by Council Member Gabe Johnson, and I work by the highest ethical standards. And the biggest issue I hear about, because I've gone door to door in Kihei, which surprised me, but is traffic.
Thank you.
So I see head shaking.
Alan.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, Randy.
Hello. Thank you guys all for coming. Thank you, Kihei Community Association, for the invite. Aloha, my name is Randy Ha'aheo Konohia. I am running for Maui County Council, Wailuku, Waihe'e, and Waikapu. I reside in Hawaiian Homes in Waiahuko 3. I'm 49 years old, and I'm happily married to my beautiful wife of 12 years. Her name is Christine, and we have an 11-year-old daughter, and she attends St. Anthony School in Wailuku. We have the whole blended family. We have 5 adult children, 3 living in the mainland, 1 in Honolulu, and 1 in Kahalui. I'm a certified arborist by trade. I've been in the tree care industry for over 20 years. I'm the general foreman for the Asplund Tree Expert Company. I manage and oversee the whole operation here on Maui, from Maui to Molokai to Hana. And I have over 30 employees that I manage. I'm engaged in the day-to-day operation, from the hiring process to the safety, compliance, to the budgeting and finances, all the way down to handling major contracts with the state and power companies. So I'm laser focused when it comes to getting the job done safe, on time, and under budget. I work hard for my guys, and my guys work hard for me. I'm also a pastor at King's Chapel, Kihei, and King's Cathedral. I oversee Transformation Ministry. It's a ministry of encouragement. Me and my wife, every Monday nights, we get to pour into men and women struggling in their addictions and overcoming homelessness. We serve them a hot meal. Over 120 people come. They can bring their children. We have childcare. And then also, I'm a pastor that we go into the prison and we get to share my testimony. And I've been just laser focused in just helping the people of Maui. So I choose to serve from my heart. And I just ask for you guys vote. And we can share more on top what I stand on some of the things that we're going to talk about tonight. Thank you for letting me share.
Thank you, Randy. Marvin?
Hey. Aloha and good evening, everybody. Thank you for being here this evening. Also want to thank the Community Association here for having us here. And first of all, I want to just touch bases on a little bit of who I am and what I stand for. I'm married to my wife, Jocelyn Moniz, who's sitting out there in the crowd. And I have 3 children, and I have 6.5 grandchildren, 6.5. One more on the way. But, you know, so why am I running? When I start looking at my grandchildren and also my children, I have a daughter that moved away to Las Vegas, and all of us know how it is when you have your family members move away. I work at the airport, and what really, really is heart-wrenching for me is I see people moving away every week. I see 7, 8-year-old kids crying on the street, "Bye, Grandpa. Bye, Grandma," just crying. They don't want to leave. So I started looking at that and made it even worse. I seen it about 3 times in a month. And I said to myself, I got to do something for my community. I want to help the people. I can't tolerate this anymore. So I pulled my papers and I decided to serve our community, and hopefully I'm elected and we can start looking at the issues facing Maui. I also look at my experience. I managed the Kahului Airport for 20 years now. I was with Hawaiian Airlines for 20 years as well. So I have a lot of years of experience managing crisis. I also have great relationships with our congressional parties, our state legislators, and our local government. And I want to continue that relationship with them because it's key for us to have great relationships when we need to go out and get support for our community. I think we've come a long way. We've done a lot, from fires to COVID to bankruptcies. For Kihei especially, I'm watching the water that comes down the hill. We gotta do something about that. We gotta put in perhaps another reservoir where one gets full and it fills up the next one. Let's use that water to dust control. Let's use that water for fire control. We gotta get out in the community and make sure people are aware of it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Marvin. And James.
Aloha, and thanks for coming. I appreciate your time. My name is James Forrest. I'm an attorney. I have about 25 years legal experience. I do like to call myself a friendly attorney because I fight for the people. I've been working for the public and public service for most of my life. Now, why that's important is because the council members are one of 9 people on island that have the ability to write laws. So they're supposed to listen to you guys and then come up with a law, something that can fix it. That's what I can do. And that's my legal experience is very valuable, and it will enable our council to make more effective agreements, more effective laws. I can cut through the red tape. I can also watch for the loopholes, those sneaky things that other lawyers like to put in. I am the answer to that. Now, what else I want to talk about is that the council is a team. So I'm eager to join the progressive side of the council. That's my cards on the table. My favorite new candidate is Bobby Paya. And I want to work with him. And, you know, That's what I have to offer. And have him walk through the door with a lawyer on his side with 25 years legal experience and see what they have to say to that. That's what I have to offer. That's what also distinguishes me from the other candidates. They all have great ideas. They've got great people up here. Everybody stood up to fight for Maui. I just have a different skill set, and one that's particularly valuable for the county council. The county council, again, are the lawmakers. I think we need a strong attorney that can help fight the battles. So whenever you talk about a development here, guess what? The developers bring their they don't bring one attorney, they bring a whole team of attorneys, okay? They often just steamroll through these contract negotiations. I will be there to stop that. I'll fight for the people, not for special interests, not for big developers. Now, I'm also very proud to be endorsed by the Pono Network as an Ohana candidate. That is the team that I'm fighting for, and that's the team of the future. If you want to fix your flooding problems, elect the progressive majority.
Thank you, James. And Ashley.
Aloha mai kako, o Ashley Lindsay. Sorry, we have a feeding child here.
Future voter.
Yes. I'm a mother. I'm from Maui. I grew up here. My family's been here for generations. I have served on the Maui Planning Commission. I was last the vice chair. My term expired in March. Prior to that, I was on the Wailuku Redevelopment Agency, which was just kind of in charge of Wailuku area, but it was still a county board and commission. My last job, I was the ED of Maui Historical Society, and so history is in my bones. I'm here because of my family and my kids. Like the others have said, everyone's moving away. We can't have that. What is Hawaii without Hawaiians? So I'm here out of my comfort zone to be here for the people of Hawaii, for the people of Maui, the people who grew up here, to represent them. I hate public speaking. I hate talking like this. I appreciate people. I like talking in smaller groups, but these kinds of situations stress me out. But yeah, I'm running because I love this place, and I believe, and I believe I can make a difference. I have a lot of experience. I've owned small businesses. I've been in property management for over 20 years. I've ran bars and restaurants. I've had a small construction company. I know what this community needs. In addition, the Wailuku Community Plan is coming up. You recently went through the South Maui Community Plan here in this area. So the Wailuku Community Plan is coming up, and the last time it was done was 30 years ago. And I understand what we need to do to get that done, so that Wailuku also has a voice. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. And the first question goes to Alan. Homelessness affects families, businesses, and public spaces across Maui. What is one concrete action you would take as a council member to address this?
Well, I've been going to businesses. In fact, recently I got my oil changed, and I went to a business, and they were telling me that the houseless were urinating in their parking lot. And so I wanted to know what they thought about would be solutions to that. And she really didn't have an idea of a solution. So I said, what about if we had a porta potty, not on their property, but another location? And she was in favor of that idea. This was her ideas, not what I would thought of ideas. So I'm listening to what her ideas were. So the first thing I propose for homelessness and houselessness is housing. People need housing. They need, as Auntie Carol Lee talked about, transitional housing, and they need permanent housing. So that's what I would propose.
All right, thank you very much. And Randy.
You know, the homeless, they deal with mental health, and they deal with drug addiction. That's the main root of it. They live as in a community, and 80% of them is getting high. Yeah, at least 80% of them is getting high. So that's what you gotta address. Yeah, but you gotta address it with compassion and treat them with respect and dignity. You gotta work with the churches, the nonprofit, yeah, even also their families. They never get there overnight. It was through just a lot of hurt and pain. But I think one of the main issues is that what I see, there's a lot of people homelessness coming from the mainland. And we need to stop that immediately. And the ones that are here, send them back with compassion and dignity. So that's the first two, realistically, what we can do. Address the issue straight to the point. And if they're getting high, there's a place where they can, how we can address that. If they're dealing with mental health, we can address it in that way. If they're just homelessness and they need a place, we can address it like that. So that's my idea.
Thank you very much. And Marvin, what's something you would do about the houselessness issue?
Okay, yeah, so I think most of you are familiar with the homeless or houseless issues that was on the road to Kanaha Beach Park a few years back. The adjacent property, the Kanaha Beach Park area where the pond is, the wildlife sanctuary, falls under our airport jurisdiction. So I was part of the program along with the County of Maui on trying to clean up that area. There was a lot of beach users, local fishermen, people taking walks through there, riding bikes. They came to a point where they were very scared and fearful to access that Kanaha Beach Park. And it was for our community, the park. So I worked along with the county, and we looked at ways how we could actually reach out to these people. You know, had representatives from Women Helping Women. We had people from the Humane Society to address their animals. And I think what I learned from them is that a lot of them want help, but they just don't know where to go. I think we need programs that will go out there and reach out to them and grab them by the hand and show, hey, we got help for you. As Randy mentioned earlier, I see them coming in from the mainland, one-way tickets. You drop them off, hey, Hawaii's a great place to live. We'll send you there. Why? Because you can stay outdoors all year round. You're not dealing with 110-degree weather. You're not dealing with snow. So come to Maui. So as we speak to them, we hear it that, hey, we need help. We want help. We even went as far as trying to find their families on the mainland, because a lot of them didn't even know that their family, their son, their cousins, their brother was here in Maui. So I think reaching out, we had worked with the hotels at one point. We had a program where all the hotels was chipping in funding so we could pay to send back these individuals to their family and friends. But in the end, we need to have social services. We need programs that'll help get these people the help that's really needed. Thank you.
Thank you. And James.
Aloha. Thank you for that question. It's something I work with every day of my life. I work as a public defender for the state. So I deal with homelessness, and I deal with the drug addiction issues from the people that you see on the street, and then they get picked up, they get taken to jail. I see them. Sometimes they get taken to the hospital. I see them. And I really want to shout out to Randy, because sometimes we send them to Randy for help. That's true passion right there, and that's why I really appreciate Randy stepping up to do this. Now, what I would do personally, again, not just talking about vague ideas, I want to declare a houselessness emergency. This is a humanity issue. We have to be treating each other with just basic, the golden rule of how you would want to be treated yourself. We can't allow a human to be sleeping on the street. That's the first thing. We need to house everyone. And I looked into how we can do that. Right now there's an available building. We all know it. It's the Sears building. It's a huge building. It's surrounded by public services. It's surrounded by the bus station, the hospital. That's the kind of action that we can take right now. We could house everyone, and then we can deal with their wraparound services, if you're aware of that term. We have to do better. We have people like Ms. Darcy out there fighting every day, crying every day. We see it it's not about, oh, I don't want to have to smell the urine. I don't want this child to see us treating other humans like this. We can do better. There's more money. There's enough money to treat our most vulnerable. And it's also a very passionate issue to me because my brother has a severe mental illness. I have fought for him my whole life. Without me, he would be on the street. He'd be in jail. He'd be neglected like everybody else. And I know that everybody doesn't have an attorney fighting for them and their family. But we can do better as a community, and frankly, we have to. We've all seen it. It's just time to actually take action.
Thank you, James. And Ashley.
So I remember Maui when you knew the homeless people who were on the street. And really what took care of that was family. Sorry, here I am again. So post-fires, my experience with that is I was one of the organizers of Kipuka Maui, and we helped get housing for fire survivors and people who were houseless. In addition, me and a bunch of my family and friends created a resource guide so that houseless individuals, because a lot of time they have a hard time to get their identifications, to do basic services, to get into these programs, to get into the shelter, to do all of these things. So we created a resource guide so that they can get their social security card, they can get their birth certificate, they can get those basic documentations just to get any services at all. A lot of the time, and that was huge. That was originally created for fire survivors. We've since distributed that throughout the community. Maui Rapid Response uses it. I'm sure we had little boxes on how to do it and what the process is and what you needed to do, because that was really the struggle that they needed for that. Other than that, increasing the capacity of our shelters are far, far too small. Our families, creating a separate place for the families and a separate place for individual adults who don't need those things. Families have special needs that, especially children, that they need to go and kind of keep them safe. And so prioritizing those families and getting them the things they need, the resources they need, food in their stomach, a safe place to sleep, really gives them more successful outcome. So meeting them where they're at, that's what your family does. Your family provides your food, your shelter. Be that again. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, this next question, Randy, we'll start with you. Stormwater runoff and wastewater pollution are major contributors to the decline of Maui's reefs, which are a statewide, national, and international treasure. So what is one action you would take to help the reefs and reduce the impacts of runoff and pollution?
I think Carol said, it's all about looking up, for the reef. So how do we manage the water runoff is you got to plant trees and get with your neighbors up Haleakala Ranch, Kaunola Ranch. Yeah, we have to have a relationship with them so where we can build water basins so the water don't run off all the way down. We got to get into the gulches. We have to talk to the county and the state. We have to manage our the Waipulani Gulch. We have to put grass and plant grass inside there and start doing vegetation. So when the water comes down, all of that grass and the vegetation slows everything down from going into the reefs. So we can do that, but I don't know why, but we have to collaborate with state, county, private owners, and we just gotta make it done.
Thank you. And Marvin?
Okay, yes. So I don't like using the word I, because everything we do is a we concept, so I want to bring that into government. So we looked at wastewater, same principle here, water coming down the hill, contaminants getting into our ocean, impacts to our shoreline. What we did was we created a water scalping project that we collect wastewater. We collect anywhere from 60 to 90,000 gallons a day of water, and we treat this water, and we use this water for irrigation. So as you see at the airport, the water feature that you see when you're driving in, that is all R1 water, treated water. We take that water and we use it for irrigation at night. We use it for the entire terminal and some other areas off-site. I think similar projects could be done up the hill here, so we can catch this water, we can treat this water, and we can use this water, again, like I mentioned earlier, for fire control, dust control. There's a lot of options we can do with stopping that water from reaching the ocean. We've learned a lot of it. We did a lot of research. We reached out to other states and territories that had similar problems. I think it's nothing wrong with asking for help. I'm a believer of not reinventing the wheel. We work hard sending resources out and looking for options that we can better capture our water and keep contaminants from going into the ocean. Thank you.
Thank you. And James, protecting our reefs.
Thank you. I have worked on the council for about 3 years as a legislative attorney. I worked closely with your previous council member, Kelly King, and we passed a wetlands bill. That was a bill that was an enabling bill. It was going to create a map, and then after that map, the council could then create wetland districts, one for Kihei, for example. Now, what went wrong? Developers. Developers are buying their way into our elections and controlling our council. So whenever you have people that are funded by developers and you expect them to hold a developer accountable, you're asking a lot. I'm proud to have signed the Our Hawaii Pledge, meaning that I don't take campaign donations from developers. I want to congratulate Alan. He signed that pledge also. I have a feeling Randy would sign that pledge. That's a piece of it. What I would do was the job that I would finish the job Kelly and I started. That is actually passing a Kihei wetlands protection overlay zone. That's how you prevent the developers from having their way. Now, obviously, we have to draft our contracts and our development agreements so that they benefit the people and protect our community for generations to come. Now, what we also need to do is hold these large landowners accountable. We know from the Lahaina fires that people were not taking care of their land properly. There are existing laws that we were warned about that we weren't enforcing, all right? We need to not only enforce those laws, but create new laws so that all these ideas that everyone's been putting out here, they're assigned and paid for by these huge landowners that we all know are above Kihei right now. Again, my legal experience helps me fight whenever our interests are being challenged by developers and outside interests. That is why we're suffering right now, and that's what we have to put an end to.
Thank you, James. And Ashley.
So it starts with observation. The waterways that come down Mauka to Makai have changed over time. Development has changed it, the paths of the water, the patterns of the rain. All of that is where we begin. After understanding that, or finding people who do understand that, because they're out there, we can make a plan for what it is. Kihei was once a great wetland. Now it is a huge development. And we have to acknowledge that reality. Because now with huge buildings, we can't take in the water, and if we do, the houses will crumble on top of them. So we have to have an assessment of where the water is flowing, when the water is flowing, what seasons, because a lot of these are perennial streams. So you have to have those observers who understand, and we put that together to make a plan for it. I think like on Molokai, Aina Momona has been doing great work holding the soil up Mauka. We have to kind of start there. As is the South Maui district really needs to work with upcountry because we're talking about the ungulates up there. We're talking about the non-natives. We're talking about losing the clouds that bring the right rains that we need, or maybe not even having those clouds. So it's about starting up Mauka, finishing down below, and that is just the beginning. of what needs to happen with the water and the resource.
Thank you. And Alan.
Thank you for that question. What I know of is that stormwater comes down and goes into the ocean because there aren't any catch basins, because there is no wetland overlay districts. And what I've learned also is that when the water runs from golf courses, it affects the reef the most because of the chemicals they use in the golf courses. So I'm in support of what all of us have talked about, which is having the wetland overlay districts and having catch basins. And what I'm most in support of is that it seems like we're not doing anything about it in the last 10 years, and we need to do something about it now. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Marvin, we'll start with you on this question. Bill 9 is legislation that turns thousands of short-term rentals into long-term rentals. Are you for it, and if so, why? And or are you against it? And if you are against it, what major step would you take to promote affordable housing in its place?
Good question. Okay, how much time do I have left? No, just kidding. Yeah, so Bill 9, I've watched the bill. There's a lot more that I need to know about Bill 9. I know it's a done deal. There was a lot put into it. I think there could have been a lot more time looking into the bill itself. I don't know. I'm still reading on it. I don't know enough totally about the bill. But what I can say is that, I mean, there was pros and cons in that bill. And I think that some of the hotels, some of the short-term rentals will soon probably be looking at converting into hotels where those short-term rentals will be available again for some of the past vacation rental owners. But again, there's a lot there. I know it's already a sign, it's already a done deal, but we never know. We could always go back as a new council. I think with this council, the steps going forward is being able to work together as a team and look at everything we do for our community. I love this community. I'm proud to be in this community. I'm proud to serve all of you. I've been here for the last 40 years between airports and transportation, and I'll do whatever it takes to do what is right for our people in our community.
Thank you. And James, Bill 9.
Thank you. One of the hottest issues that the community has faced, and I know a lot of you guys put a lot of blood and sweat and tears into that. And one thing I do want to make clear is that there's no such thing as a done deal in legislation. We can go back. We can open up the books. We can write new laws, all right? What I think about Bill 9, Bill 9 was obviously trying to fix a problem that had developed over about 20 years. The main problem is that our short-term rentals are owned by people who don't live here. So all the revenue that we would be generating, and the whole problem is that all the money's leaving, all right? Whenever I was talking to people about Bill 9, the most important thing would be how can the county use its powers? I'm looking at the taxing powers of property tax. How can we provide incentives for local ownership and tax foreign ownership? That's perfectly legal. Now that is a slower approach, but it might be a wiser approach. I do support the idea behind Bill 9, which is to provide, of course, affordable housing. One of the arguments against it would be that people off-island would just snap them up and buy these houses. Again, if you think of it from a legislative perspective, how can you fix that? So if someone raises a problem, my brain automatically goes, let's write a bill that would fix it. So using tax incentives, I would create a fund that would provide for people to actually buy those houses, specific fund to provide for people who would actually buy that. So you say that it's going to be bought by a foreign entity or someone off island. Let's create laws that prevent that, all right? Now, again, the main point around the short-term rentals is a lot of the same point around any of our tourism dollars. We have created a system. We created it. We created our county laws. We created our tax system. We can undo that system,
all right? But you need to elect people that are independent from the developers, independent from the hotels. They're not going to pass a law that their funders don't want to pass, all right? And my time's up, but I would ask you to go to my website. This is a very complicated question. I have a very detailed plan with bills already written to address this.
Thank you, James. And Ashley on Bill 9, affordable housing.
So while serving on the Maui Planning Commission, I read thousands of pages of testimony. I sat through over 24 hours of public testimony in person. It took days out of my life and time away from my children to be able to do that. And I voted to support Bill 9. And I still stand by that vote. And after reading all of that, it really, housing our people is the priority. And that's why it came to be. And it was a long process to get that done, and it took a lot of community, a lot of man work, a lot to do all of those things. And actually having made one of those decisions, it was a hard decision. To be honest, 100% of my income comes from rentals. I don't have any short-term rentals on Maui, which is why I could vote on that bill. But that is my livelihood. That is what feeds my family. So understanding the economic side of that, was kind of hard to take in, but prioritizing people over that and finding other ways, creative solutions to boost our economy was more my worry for Bill 9. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Alan?
Thank you for that. That's a great question. So Bill 9 really came about because we've had a history on the island, as someone just mentioned at this table, 20 years of not producing, not creating affordable housing. So Bill 9 was a way to start that process. So I went back and forth on it. I testified in favor of it, but I had many concerns. One is that by increasing the supply of housing, which is a belief that most of the elected officials have, if you increase the supply of housing, you will create affordable rentals. And I have research to show that in towns and cities, Seattle's an example, where they added 100,000 new housing units and it didn't decrease substantially the price of rent. So that was my concern, and when I testified, I said we need some measure in this that will keep rents lower. The next part is, and yes, most of the short-term rentals are owned by those that don't live here, but I would like to have seen those that lived here and had short-term rentals and were depending on it for income to be exempt from Bill 9. Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Randy?
Bill 9 had good intentions, but I think the process was rushed and pressured. And so we just got to look at what Bill 88 is doing. Yeah, and again, like what James said, we can go back and revisit. And I think it's not fair. You just bring a hammer and just hit everybody, and everybody gets, it's not fair for the guys who did everything right. And I'm for locals getting homes and housings first. Kama'ainas is first. And but yeah, we can revisit and look at how we can help the 15%. Yeah, and we're going to tax the 85% who doesn't live here and making money off the short term. That's my stance on that, John.
Thank you. All right, and the last question. What is, James, we'll start with you. What is one idea or approach that you believe sets you apart from the other candidates?
Okay, thank you for that. Clearly, I've talked about it a lot. I am an attorney. I have 25 years of legal experience, guys. That's a lot. And I've just seen over my time here that we're being steamrolled by corporations and their attorneys. We're being steamrolled by outside campaign finance. If you look at, just look at the campaign finance reports that have come out. This is just the beginning. The next report's going to be worse. There are hundreds of thousands of dollars being poured into this election to basically influence it into their way and not the way of the people. I think that having someone that, you know, I don't consider myself to be, you know, a single person either. I obviously emphasize partnerships. I truly believe that the people that I know on the council, like Gabe Johnson, Shane Sinensi, and you know, Tamara Paulton, I would make them better. I would make them stronger. You know, they have such valuable cultural experience. What they don't have is a lawyer fighting for them. And if you think that the council has lawyers that the corporation council is going to step in, talk to someone who knows better, all right? You need someone that's going to fight for you. My intentions are clear. I'm a very progressive person. I believe that the corporate influence on this island is rather, it's just sickening. It really upsets me. I think it should upset everybody. I want you guys to go look at the campaign finance reports and see where the money's coming and just say why. You know, if we care so much about our island and we want to stop people from leaving, then why are we helping luxury developers? Why did we vote for Wailea 670? The whole community protested Wailea 670. They were supposed to provide a lot more affordable housing than they did. And certain people voted to lower that number. You know how I will vote, all right? I'm gonna vote for the people every time. I'm gonna vote for the Hawaiians. I just feel that my experience as like a civil rights attorney and an environmental attorney are exactly what you guys need right now. And I'm offering my services, and please just go to my website. It's voteattorneyforce.com. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. All right, Ashley.
Can you ask that question again? I kind of went on a little.
Yeah. What is one idea or approach that you believe sets you apart from the other candidates?
So I am from here. My family's been here for generations. I can trace back my kupuna to Maui Komohana and Wailuku. That makes me different. I'm a female. I'm a mother of a young family. I have 10 years of experience in Maui County volunteering. I'm only 42. I've been on the board of the Maui Historical Society for 10 years. I've been on the board at Kekulo Pi'ilani, which is a Hawaiian Charter and Immersion and Culture School. So I've been on that for 10 years. I've continued to serve this community my entire life. And I look young, and and relative to the average age of council members in Maui, it's, really on the bottom side. But I have a lot of experience, and I really love this place, and I care. That's why.
Thank you very much, Ashley. And I must say, you just made me feel a little old, but that's great. we want the young, so. All right, and Alan.
I wish I could hold it to just one idea, but I'll try to go through them fast. So one is, no one has yet talked about the kapuna. All of us that are older than Ashley. And there's a lot of concerns that people our age have that haven't been talked about in this campaign yet. And so that's number one. Second is, I haven't heard anybody talk about traffic yet. Traffic in Kihei. Auntie Carolee talked about 2,000 more people. Well, you think traffic's bad now. Wait till 2,000 more people are here. So, and the third one is, I'm proposing as a way to create more affordable home ownership is that we expand our community land trusts on Maui. We currently have 2 community land trusts, one in Lahaina and one in Wailuku. So we expand those so people within 1 year or 2 years, not 5 to 8 years to wait for a new development, can purchase a house and have it for their own. People that live here. Thank you.
Thank you.
What sets me apart is my unwavering faith in God, which guides my character, my decisions, and my commitment to serve with integrity. I believe leadership means doing what is right, not what is politically convenient, and I will remain steadfast in my principles. You know, I'm already in the community. This is just a cherry on top. I'm already in the community helping them, the homelessness, the recovering addicts. I'm in Aloha House every other week. I'm in the prisons every week. I'm feeding 120 people. You know, so this is what one public servant look like. You know, and again, I'm doing it because, number one, I'm Hawaiian. That's what we do. Yeah? That's what we do. That's in our nature, in our cocoa, in our blood. We're gonna come over, you guys come over here, and I'm gonna feed you guys, help you guys, love on you guys, and send you guys on the way better. And that's what I'm doing. And that's why I chose to run. You know, I share with my wife, it's like, home life is good, church life is good, ministry life, work life. Why not do this, right? Why not do this and help? We all can help somewhere. So I throw my name in the hat. You know, I lead every day through ministries, at work. I can walk around this room. I can generate one conversation with you guys. I'm personable. Yeah, I can ask you your name and really take the time to get to know you folks. I'm a people person, and I just want to continue doing this for not only Kihei, but Kula, Hana, Lanai, Molokai, and we all deserve better. Thank you guys for letting me share. Mahalo.
Thank you. And Marvin.
Hey, I'm the last guy. Okay. Anyway, I think what separates me is my experience. Currently I work with the city within a city. We have our own police department. We have our own fire department. We have electric power. We do water scalping. I also work with the homeless program. I also work with environmentalists. I work with the federal government. I work with state government. And I think when I look back at that, I bring a lot to the table because when something's needed, we can reach out for help. We've done that a lot in the past. We look at the money that we're saving. We're doing programs with the county right now. What we really got to look at in our community is we always hear public-private partnership, which is great. We did a public-public partnership. You don't hear that too often, but what we did was we joined forces with the Maui Fire Department and the Airport Fire Department. Instead of everybody having their own sandbox to play in, we shared the sandbox. We bought tools together. We bought apparatus. We bought firefighting equipment, and we played in one sandbox. Now we respond to county fires with the airport. We help. Likewise, the county helps us at the airport. We're doing training programs. We're saving the county and the state millions of dollars just by doing these type of programs. So that's just one program. Can you imagine when we sit down together, state, county, federal, and start working together? The bottom line, and we talked about this earlier, keeping our people home. And that's gonna help us save money. Any dollar we can save, it's a benefit to our community. And trust me, if elected, I'll have an open door policy that I do right now for my 2 jobs. I'm not telling you 20 years, and you know really how old I am now. But anyway, I'll have an open door policy. You got a voice. We're here for the people. We get elected to serve you, not ourselves. There's a lot of officials out there. It's what's in it for them. I always use a quick example. Michael Jordan. I think he was the greatest basketball player of all times. Some of you may differ, but his success was with the team effort. Somebody rebounded. Somebody threw the ball in. Somebody had to hustle down a court and get the pass to him. So that's the success, a we and a team effort. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, these are our Wailuku candidates. Thank you very much, and give them a big hand. All right, and now we'll bring the upcountry candidates onto the stage. Bobby? All right. Thank you both for being here. And Derek, we'll start with your opening statement.
Okay, thank you, everyone.
If you could quiet down so we can listen. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for welcoming us here. First of all, I want to start off with, there's only 12 more days until the primaries. Okay, so I'm not going to go and use up all my time on trying to let you know who I am. If you want to know who I am, go on Derek Cabillas for Maui County. I want to share with you folks today why am I sitting in this seat. Okay, one of my philosophies in life is that when there's signs that comes right up in front of you, you need to look at them, address them, and recognize them, okay? I have 5 children ranging from 42 years old to 24 years old, 7 grandchildren, 1 on its way. Now, as I've been going through this process, I have been retired for 3 years. All these little signs was popping up here and there. The main one that really hit my family is that when I did some research, 53% of local families no longer live here. 53%, okay? So, I did my family, yeah, which the nail in the coffin why I'm sitting here for you today is that I moved my daughter, her husband, and my 4 grandchildren to Vegas a few months ago. Okay? Then when I did my numbers, my younger brother, for me, who retired too, he couldn't be able to live here. So he moved him and his family to Utah. So the main reason I'm here is to represent and serve the people of Maui so that we can all stay home and to bring my 2 beautiful daughters back home. Thank you.
Thank you, Derek.
Thank you.
And Bobby?
Aloha mai kako, uvao o Bobby Pahia. First, I'd like to thank the Kihei Community Association for having this forum and giving us an opportunity to speak to the community. I want to start off by saying that I've been a resident of Hawaii all my life. I've been on Maui for the last 45 years, and I've seen the changes happen here, not only in the state, but especially here in Maui. And to be honest, I was one of the people on the sidelines moaning and groaning and complaining about things in life, about how bad everything was. And I always voted, but I never took it to the next level and engaged more aggressively in a civic manner. I also am I'm a farmer. I'm a kalo farmer. I've been farming kalo for the last 40 years of my life. I have a beautiful family, beautiful wife of 49 years. I have 3 children, 8 grandchildren, and a great-grandchild. And what really got me to throw my hat in the ring was watching the numbers grow of all the people moving out of Hawaii. And that's really heartbreaking. And that is the primary reason why I threw my name in the hat. There's many other reasons, but that's the primary reason. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you very
Thanks,
much.
Bobby. Thank you, Bobby.
All right. Derek, first question, we'll start with you. Central and South Maui are on the same water system, and it is at 98% capacity right now. We have been on water restrictions in South Maui for over a year. Thousands of new homes are planned for South Maui. What is one thing you do to address this shortage and get us off of water restrictions and to help ensure smart development?
First of all, there is no one thing. You just can't do one thing to fix that. First of all, let's just be clear on that, okay? Is that our water systems that we have here, it's a very tough situation on what with all the infrastructure and what we had already developed. For me, I'm not, right now, I'm telling you guys this, gang, my qualifications are not based on political, okay? I have a huge background in management. And looking at those issues that we did, it was bad management from the beginning. And basically what we need to do is we was always going backwards, is that we need to pay attention and build on our infrastructure, especially those two areas and all the other areas that are being affected, roads, hospitals, all of those things. We need to pay attention to all of those before we even go and start growing. So we need to adjust those infrastructure before we even make any type of decisions on growing.
Thank you. And Bobby, water shortages in South Maui for over a year on restrictions. What is one of the things that you'd focus on to help address this?
Water restrictions. You gotta, water is, it's a complex situation here. Because when we address water, we have to look at what creates water. What creates the surplus? What do we need to do? Well, number one, for sure, we gotta grow more trees. That's like automatic. We gotta grow more trees. However, I think that one of the big problems is that when we look at our water capacity, let's say South Maui, we really need to take a look at where's the water coming from, number one. And a lot of the water in South Maui, there's a lot of wells that have been developed. And we need to be careful about that, because I don't think we really got a good grasp on our sustainable yields in our aquifers. Number one, the formula that those that are in authority in creating this formula to indicate what our water capacity is in our aquifers is definitely outdated. The reason why I say that is because weather patterns have changed. Water recharge is different. And I'm very cognizant of that. And we gotta be very careful, because if you keep on putting straws in the cup and we don't know how much the capacity is, the impact is gonna be a direct hit on all of us. We need to understand what our sustainable yields are. The other thing about water, when you look at water, you gotta look at where's all the water going? Where's all the water going in Maui? Well, I can tell you where it's going. Yeah. Mahipono uses a lot. Yeah. Our tourism industry in South Maui uses a lot. I have a problem with that, because I don't think that our communities are at the front of the line when it comes to water availability. And that's my time. Thank you.
Thank you. And both gentlemen are correct. I mean, everyone's had to deal with that tonight. Some of these questions are very complex. To try and take a 2-minute cut at it is difficult to, get things in. And I appreciate your efforts to do so. All right, this next question is for you, Bobby, starting with you. What is one reform you believe Maui County urgently needs, and how would you begin to implement it in your first year?
Reform? Well, we know what's happening over here, not only in Maui, but all of Hawaii, right? It's corporate interests and special interests that dictate policy and legislation, not only in the state, but in Maui County. We really need to take a good look at that. Because policy and legislation plays a big role on how we live over here. Now, if policy and legislation is not created for the welfare of our community, then guess what? We have a lot of negative impact in our community. So I'm for, and this is one of my platforms, is civic engagement. We all know the numbers over here in Hawaii, and it's sad. A lot of our people over here in Hawaii do not engage civically. And in my opinion, I think that our people, number one, they lost trust in government. Number two, they feel like their voices are not being heard, hence they don't engage, they don't vote. And number three, because they don't vote, because we have little numbers, guess what? The corporate donations and special interests that fund campaigns, they continue to make legislation and policy that benefit all these big donors. And we need to change that. We need to get an education program out there. I'm a big believer. Someone asked me, well, Bobby, how are you going to do that? How are you going to change this? Well, I'll tell you what, and this is what I say. How does government and big business sell a product or an idea? It's through a marketing and advertising campaign. I live by this and I use this phrase a lot. Our people perish for the lack of knowledge and understanding. Our community is groping in the dark because they don't engage. So they don't bother to educate themselves. I'm a big believer in education, big believer. I think that's the way that we address a lot of change. And I can go on and on about this, but yeah, I'll stop there. Thank you.
Thank you. And Derek, a major reform you think Maui urgently needs?
My answer is going to be really simple, gang, because like I said again before, my qualifications is not political. Yeah. And every question so far that been asked of me, it says like one. There are many reforms that we need to address. But to me, the biggest one that I see is actually looking at each other in that 9 council seats, yeah, and holding each and every one of us accountable for the decisions that we make here for the people and the families of Maui. And we should be holding, and like you folks should be doing, and why you all here today, is to hold us accountable for those decisions.
Thank you. All right. Derek, this question will start with you. Residents in Kihei face chronic flooding every year, which we've already discussed a bit. But a lot of the flooding begins up country. So what is something that you would prioritize to address this?
Sorry, gang, but these questions that are being asked today of me is that it really goes back down to the bottom line, gang. Everything that we're doing right now with all the issues that we are facing with reef, damaging our reefs, waters, damaging all our roads, we need to address the infrastructure. We need to go back is because all the things that we did, building houses in the wetlands, come on, right? That mistake had been done. So we need to correct it. And by correcting it is in addressing all the infrastructure issues that we are. I can go on and tell you, build trees, do this, do that, you know? But we need all the professionals to come together, pull all the data, yeah, and the 9 council seats, focus on redoing our infrastructure to eliminate all these issues.
Thank you. And Bobby.
Oh, the flooding. Well, you know, we cannot turn back time because we did build on wetlands, and we can't do anything about that. I'm talking about the housing down here now. But the flooding is a Mauka to Makai issue. It's a Mauka to Makai issue. Number one, I believe Randy brought up, you know, when we think about flooding, and because I'm in agriculture, I work with NRCS, and we talk about these type of issues. Number one of the very obvious ones is creating swaths. Creating swaths. The other thing too is, when we look at Mauka to Makai, there's some major landowners that own all the land where the water flows. We need to create partnerships with these landowners, right? And another thing, I don't believe in reinventing the wheel. What I do think we should be doing is investing in seeking knowledge in a worldwide scale on what other countries in the world have experienced the same type of hardships, and what have they done, and possibly maybe utilize some of their techniques and approaches. You know, I talked to somebody from the mayor's office, and they told me, because to me the obvious answer is creating swales, creating retaining basins, and infrastructure of that nature. However, the feedback I got was, well, we're having insurance issues, liability issues in creating this type of infrastructure. But I don't buy that, because I've always said this: if we can put people on the moon, don't tell me we don't have the wherewithal and the engineering capacity to create these type of systems.
Thank you. And the last question, affordable housing, what is one thing that you would focus on or try to accomplish? And Bobby, we'll start with you.
Affordable housing. You know, when I hear the rest of candidates that are running for office, those that are already in office, you know, I hear this problem a lot. Affordable housing. Remember what I said about creating legislation and policy? We can create legislation and policy to ensure that affordable housing can be met. Number one, when I talk to people about affordable housing, I always talk about these tiers. And these tiers that I'm talking about are the income levels of our community. Everybody in our community is in one of these tiers. And what I like to identify is where's the majority of our local community? Where do they fit in these tiers? Bottom tier, you're making less than $5,000. The next tier, and then of course you got the top tier. These are the guys who can afford the $5 million houses. They can afford the $10 million houses. But what I'm talking about, affordable housing, I'm talking about the working class that live over here in Hawaii. What's that income range? So when it comes to housing, what I've seen happen over here in Hawaii is that we address the housing issue according to supply. We need housing, Let's build more houses. Build more houses. The problem is that we're building houses not for these people right here, our working people. This is the people that we should be working for, because this is the people that supports our economy. This is the people that can help diversify our economy. We need to build homes according to demand. And I'm talking about this class of people right here. We need to build homes according to this. So how do we do that? Well, I tell you what, developers, they don't like to build homes over here because the profit margins are less than building the homes up here. So as legislators, as policymakers, we need to ensure that we address this. We address these developers and how we create policy that allows them to do that.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you very much. And Derek.
Affordable housing, gang. That's a really tough one. I mean, everyone in here probably is dealing with that same issue with their family, their children, and everyone else. But I can tell you, I'm gonna go back to infrastructure again. If our county offices, in state and federal, before we even plan on building anything, we be proactive and we build the infrastructure and we take on that cost. It's because if we take on that cost, the developer will not be able to put that price into the home that they're building for us and our people. And that should lower the price on each home that is being built. From what I have learned and from what I've heard is that the reason why our houses are so outrageously high is that the developers always have to go and build these infrastructures. And then when we leave them up to them, look what they do. Nothing, right? Nothing. And then now we're backwards again and we gotta go and fix it. So we're losing both ways. So like I said again, all the questions that pretty much was asked of me today is that infrastructure is huge and we need to address those issues to make sure that everything can be done correctly and be proactive about it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Upcountry candidates, a big hand for them.
Thank you, everyone. What one bold thing I would do?
You may get it again. All right, everyone. That is the questions for tonight. Thank you so much for coming out and finding out what our candidates are thinking and what they're going to work for, and for being part of an informed community. Some of the candidates will still be here. Feel free to ask them your questions or chat with them. And other than that, if you have not become a member of KCA, please stop and see Patricia on your way out. It's a very simple process. We also support the Maui Food Bank. So when you come to our public meetings, please help us support them by bringing some food. Thanks again. Have a good night.